Ho there, VC friends. Mama Bear Vinyl, Cindy here, and I'm just dropping a video. I have not made a video in over 4 months. Kind of taking a pause, but I've woken from my long winter's nap, and I just wanted to share some albums that I've picked up in the last 4 or 5 months. There have been all kinds of great contests and threads going on, and I just haven't had the chance to really reply to them. I've been behind on catching up on videos, but I have a little downtime right now, quarantine and all that. So hopefully I'll be able to be a more active member of the VC. And so the first 3 albums I want to share is back in kind of November, December, I had entered some different contests, which is always fun. I love entering contests, not necessarily to win a prize, though that is a nice perk, but just to support other VC channels and, you know, some of the threads or contest questions are really fun, and it kind of gets you active in making a video. So the first one I wanted to share is over at the Nerdy Punk. He had a contest, and I was a lucky winner of his contest. He's kind of a fan of pop punk, and I am also a fan of that 2000s pop punk genre. I really love it. And so I was able to pick up an album that they have reissued, and I'm really excited that I was able to pick up this album, and I've really enjoyed it. And that's Relient K's and this is awesome. Of course, it has the one I'm waiting for, Be My Escape, I think was their big hit off of this album. But lots of great music on here. This came out around the same time as kind of that Christian alt-rock pop punk scene, also like Switchfoot and Lifehouse, Jars of Clay. So Relient K, really awesome album that I'm enjoying. Thank you again, Nerdy Punk. Be sure to check out his channel. And then in December, Junior at Comic Rima had a contest, and I was the fortunate one to win the contest, and we've kind of been in contact by email and everything, but I just haven't made a video. But I was able to score 2 albums, which I'm really excited about. The first one was 1989. Of course, I'm a big 80s fan, and late 80s rock, alt-rock, there were some good acts coming out, and this one is the Cult, Sonic Temple, that was reissued. This album is awesome. I really can't say enough good things about it. Every song on here pretty well packed. Great stuff. Love Sun King, Fire Woman, Sweet Soul Sister, Automatic Blues, just so many great songs on here. And that would be the Cult, Sonic Temple. And the other album that I was able to pick up thanks to Junior is an Aussie band that I really love. I love their earlier albums. My favorite's got to be Kicks. That's my favorite album. But I was able to pick up 10 by NXS. And this one, of course, has the hit on it, Suicide Blonde, but there's other great songs on here. This is a Back to Black reissue, and it sounds really great, and really enjoyed adding that to my collection. So the next album I want to share is, there's been various contests through the VC that I just haven't entered or anything, but there's some great things out there. But I always love some of the questions that come up, and Dylan Noble Records had a contest, and one of his questions was to share an album in your collection that is something that you would not part with or get rid of. And so the album I want to share is AJJ, Decade of Regression. And this was a live performance at Side One Dummy in LA. And I love the disclaimer, unnecessary advisory, wholesome content. And AJJ is short for Andrew Jackson Jihad. And they're kind of a little rock, but kind of more like a folk punk. Some of their songs are interesting. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of this band, but some of the songs are good. This was actually a gift from my daughter. We were record shopping, and she was actually at this live Side One Dummy performance. She was a big AJJ fan. At one time she did a kind of a zine with other AJJ fans that she kind of met through social media and everything. And so she was invited to this live performance, and she is actually on the back cover. So in the audience here, she's right here with her beanie. You can only just see the back of her head. But if you look, it was just a really quaint, intimate concert. So though this wouldn't be my go-to record on high rotation or anything, this is an album that is near to my heart because it was something that's really important to my daughter, and she was kind of involved in this event. So that would be AJJ, Decade of Regression. And the next album I wanted to share was just an album that has been on high rotation since I've gotten it. So this group, I really love this group, but I didn't have anything on vinyl of them. They kind of were really popular in the late 90s, 2000s, early 2000s. And so, like their the albums they released were mostly released on CD, though there were a few LPs released, but kind of limited release Europe. And so they actually reissued their album from 2004, the Donnas Gold Medal. And so this is a recent reissue. And this has been on high rotation. I'm probably listening to this once or twice a week. It was heavier when I first got it. I just really love this album, love this group. They just kick butt, like just awesomeness. And they are reissuing, oh my gosh, I think it's Save the Night, and that comes out in late May. So right now, like your local record stores or online, you can probably pre-order it. And I put in my pre-orders because I'm really excited about that. But that's the Donnas. A thread that went around by Beth at B-Side Records. She's done several threads, and she is amazing. She's one of the first people that ever subscribed to my channel. She's just an amazing lady, and she has a great music collection. I found out about all kinds of soundtracks with her, monthly upcoming soundtracks coming out. But her thread was one that's gone around a few times, but she reintroduced it, which I was happy to hear about. And that is to share an album that you would love to see reissued on vinyl, because right now you can't get it, it's crazy prices, or an album that was never put out on vinyl, and so you would love to see that. And so a favorite of mine from the same year as the Donnas came out, Gold Medal, is 2004 Butch Walker's single, it's not mixtape, it's Letters, but it does have the hit on here, Mixtape. And this is a favorite CD of mine. I like Butch Walker. This is one of my favorite solo albums by him, and I would love to have this someday on vinyl, but the CD will do for now. But a great album. The video for Mixtape is a little messed up, but it's a fun video too. So definitely, if you've never heard Butch Walker's Mixtape, check it out on YouTube. There's a video, and it's kind of a fun watch. So this is an album that I would love to see on vinyl. The next two albums I want to show are albums that were inspired by the VC. So I honestly love watching VC videos, seeing your latest pickups, recommendations. It's like we all have different music taste, and though I might gravitate towards a certain type of music, I love seeing what other people pick up. I love Steve Carlson. He always has a variety of different music. I picked up a Miriam Makeba. She's like Mother Africa. It's a South African artist, and it's a 60s album that I picked up, and it's so good. It's something I wouldn't have normally picked up, but I saw it on Steve Carlson's channel, and I really liked the song that he sampled. And then I happened to be in a used record store a few weeks later, and I saw something relatively inexpensive by her, and I was like, I'm gonna check it out. It was kind of a blind buy, and I checked, and it's been awesome. But there's two recent additions that I've added to my collection that I found in used record stores before, the quarantine lockdown. So the first one is Hannah at the Omaha Introvert. She shares some great stuff, always really knowledgeable about the music, and she shared a group she's a fan of this group, and they came out in the 80s, and honestly I was never really familiar with them, and she mentions them a lot. And so when I was at a used record store under $5, I found this album. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give it if Hannah likes it, it's probably really good. Because we do like some similar albums. And so I picked up the DB's Sound of Music. And this is a great album. It's kind of like a jangly pop. But also, I really got a REM vibe from them. They're very, I kind of like that. And so this is the DB's Sound of Music. I really enjoyed it. It was under $5 to pick up a used copy of this in fairly good condition. And so I've been enjoying that. Also, another album that I recently picked up. And this just happened to be at the right price. Melinda Murphy, and her channel's Melinda Murphy. Probably anybody that's subscribed to my channel or should watch my channel probably already subscribes to Hannah and Melinda. But Melinda's been featuring a lot of her Mo-Fi albums lately, and so I just happened to stumble upon this, and this is a favorite artist of mine. And this is Pat Benatar, In the Heat of the Night, and this is the original master recording that was released in the 80s. Amazing stuff. The cover is a little, it's kind of VG plus, but that album itself, near mint condition, and it has the hits like Heartbreaker, I Need a Lover, In the Heat of the Night, We Live for Love. I mean, just packed full of great hits. And this is just awesome. And it kind of, Melinda shared a Stevie Nicks album that she had found that was released out of the 80s on by MoFi, and she just raved about it. And so when I saw this one and the price was very reasonable, I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and get this. And I've been very happy with it. And kind of the last album I would like to show is an album that I have gotten since we've been in quarantine. And it's an album that I've been looking for a while. I've never seen the LP out in the wild. I had purchased the cassette back in 1989 and just played that till it wore out, and then I got the CD. But never been able to find the LP. So I was on eBay, and I just kind of typed it in, and I found it for a really reasonable price, and I was so excited. I've been wanting this album on a LP for a while, and that is XTC's Oranges and Lemons. And this is just such amazing, like every song. There's no skip songs for me. Just awesome. Garden of Earthly Lights, Mayor of Simpleton, Poor Skeleton, I love that one. Just so many great songs on it, and I'm so happy that I was able to add it. It has kind of this sticker on it. I'm not sure how I'm going to get that off, but as far as the cover and the vinyl LPs, they're in near mint condition, and I'm just so happy that I was able to add this. So, thank you for tuning in and letting me spend some time with you in your living rooms. Kind of a new setup here. Usually I film in my lady listening lair, but I was already set up for video conferencing calls in the home office, so that's where I'm shooting from today. I kind of like how, like Melinda Murphy and other people, they're kind of welcoming you into their home, and they show you different spots in their home. So don't judge me for my all-in-one record slash CD slash cassette player, honestly, in there too. I really don't use it to play records. It's either CDs or listening to the radio or the occasional cassette. So I'm rambling on. But thank you for tuning in, and thank you for hanging in with me, those followers that stayed with me even though I haven't made a video in a while. And just hopefully everybody is doing safe, surviving this quarantine, kind of getting by. I'm looking forward to when I can go physically record shopping again. I feel kind of withdrawn from that, but I'm looking forward to that. So thank you, and I will see you all on the flip side.